Alright, we're going to go over fuel save at Long Beach in the LMP2. Um, uh, Tons of people have put out like lap guides on how to do laps, so if you need to see that, I would just recommend go watch a lap guide. For the most part, you'll see where you need to hit your marks at this track from any of the lap guides out there. This one is going to be about fuel saving. Generally, you're going to want to target between around somewhere around like 1.61 range, 1.62, 1.63, something like in that, to make it to the end and in liters per lap. Obviously, if you're in traffic, you can use that to advantage to save more. Outside of traffic, you want to hit your target. And if you always want to save as much as possible to save more, because sometimes you may need to push and you want to have a little bit extra so you can push when you need to get by a car or to keep somebody at bay. But we'll see. Let me flat out here on the run down to T1. And generally, places I like to lift at is going to be like the bridge here is a good thing. There's going to be tons of shadows you on the ground. Problem, as the day changes, these shadows will move. During the race, it's not too bad because it's only a 45-minute race, or 35-minute race. But having moving shadows can cause you to have issues, so it's better to use some type of reference point like the bridge. That's a good one. Another one would be this curb, this end of this, or this. But generally, I'll lift at, when I see the bridge, I'll lift. You see it come down. And then my next point would be like referencing. So I'll be referencing between 3 to 200 for braking. And you can see I'll start going to the brakes around the 300, max out 200, and come back off it. Because you're lifting so early, the car's already slowing down, and you don't need to brake as early as you would normally need to. The biggest thing is making sure you flow as much into each corner as possible. Obviously, through here is first gear. Stay in first gear. You're gonna have to upshift to second, but then downshift to first here. You don't need to be constantly flat out all the time. In fact, because of getting on the power, if you were to be immediately flat, it can over-rotate the car or cause it to be imbalance. Having to balance the car is acceptable as well for fuel saving, especially through this tight track. And you downshift to first. You really want to make sure you get the car more to the right of this. You don't ever want to be here. You don't want to run straight across it. You want to be over to the right so you have less bounce on it as possible. You can get right back out. Again, you can see I'm not like shifting, like smashing as soon as I can. I'm trying to slowly ramp into it because A, I'm fuel saving, and B, I don't need to like smash in for the most. Here's my other one would be, as soon as I see this area here, not the 400, this area is like usually my marker to start lifting at. Now, because of this, because I lift early, I usually start braking closer to the 100 than say the 200. You can see that. Again, you don't, down to first gear here, you need all the low end this car you can to get out here. Second gear is not a proper gear to get through these corners. And then you're going to lift before the 300, and you can make sure you can get all the speed for you as possible. First gear as well, second, third, fourth, fifth. Coming up here, we're going to generally lift around this area. This white could be like right after it somewhat. See if we go back, so we're coming up. Yeah, we've already lifted. Let's go back, and you can see that as we're coming up halfway through, we're lifted before we finish that. And what you'll notice though is, even though I'm only in fourth, I upshift to sixth gear. And the reason being is, if you leave it in fourth, it slows you down more. If you put it up to sixth or a higher gear, you can keep coasting at a faster pace. So that's why I upshift to sixth gear. And then we're coming up here. We generally don't want to brake too much. until we get close to like between the 3 and the 2. Not a heavy amount of braking, just enough to get the car turned and slow down slightly. And we see it, we have a guy, but you want to keep it tight in here. You really want to keep it tight into the curbing. And likewise through here, you don't want to go too deep. You don't want to push. You just don't really want to push this section because it wastes fuel if you're pushing hard through it, and your car just washes out. You kill your front tires. You just want to keep it nice and tight and tidy. And on the left, not a lot of braking effort to get this car slowed down and to get it turned in and get back on the power on the exit. If there's times where if you go through this and if you get on the power too late but all the way, it's just gonna push out into the wall over there. So the best thing you could do is, if you're not gonna get 100% of the power, just wait until you really unload get this car turned enough directionally that you can get on the power more. There is a way, and I can't do it well, where you can get on the power really early before turning in, and it'll get a better exit, but it's very hard to do. Even at my level, it's hard for me to do. And then honestly, just flat out until you get up to that area again. You just gotta keep that in mind. You gotta keep your fuel target in mind, and you gotta keep doing this lap after lap. Thing is, like when you're behind GT3 cars through here, generally it'll allow you, because you can't get really through here and get past them quick, so you might as well extra fuel save. You don't need to be like 100% on the fuel, on the throttle, because I can't just blow through this guy in front of me. So there's about no point to being straight on him when I'm gonna get slowed down anyways if I can't flow any speed through the corner. And I mean, that's pretty much it. If you have questions or not, just let me know. There's not much more to it, but reading the traffic, knowing when to overtake, when not to overtake is really huge on the fuel save as well. So a lot of times you don't need to send it in certain areas, and other times you really want to send it, because if you have a chance to get by, you sort of want to get by. If you don't have a chance to get by, extra fuel save. It is what it is.